Giving people equity in their education lets them have the ability to take control of their own standard, their own position in society, and make demands for the good of their own lives.
Education inequity is a huge umbrella that can encompass so many different things. So if you think about education inequity for students, it's maybe a student who goes to a school in a district that doesn't have a lot of money and they don't have a lot of resources in the classroom.
You're not supplying them with textbooks, papers, pencils. There's no paper in our building sometimes. And as a result, what are you giving a test on? Well, the teacher's buying that paper, or the school isn't and the student has to bring it, but they can't afford it, and then you get real inequity.
Education's important for everybody. It shouldn't be unequal, but it definitely is.
The best example I can give you is a kindergartner who comes to school with no education background, can't read, can't write. Right? As the year progresses, his peers are moving into higher reading levels, better math levels, and he's stuck at that level because it's going to take him a year, maybe a year and a half to catch up to them.
Not all students receive the same quality of education. I think that part of that definitely stems from issues of funding, access to high quality teachers, and then beyond that, I think that there are other issues that stem from a societal level.
It's a structural consequence of the kind of society that we live in, specifically the kind of economic system that we live under. But second, I would say within that, if you take that philosophic overarching idea away, it's about the fact that tax dollar distribution is not done in a particularly thoughtful way because of the way we distribute and accrue taxes from people in communities, and that we pull money from impoverished communities to support impoverished schools, and we pull money from rich communities to support richer schools.
You can see that in bigger cities and smaller towns. Some folks in a small town area of Pennsylvania don't get as much funds for their education as other folks in bigger areas, but then in big cities, there's so many people, they don't have the funding to go across the board for everybody.
Education equity is everyone having everything that they need to be successful. And that doesn't mean that the person next to you will have the same thing that you have.
This is the current civil rights issue because we are seeing a full attack on students and communities, and this is generational. And we have to get to the point where we stop playing around with language and calling it an academic achievement gap. Let's call it what it is. It's an opportunity gap, or as Princeton professor Eddie Glaude said, it's a value gap. The value that we place on certain students in comparison to other students. Let's call it what it is. And we have to be courageous enough to call it out.